former Akron City employees lost their pay for compensatory time, comp time, and they sued. Jurors agreed that the city had destroyed 860 sheets of public records in the case, and the two workers were awarded $1.7 million. The city of Akron appealed, and last week that appeal was shot down. So those employees will get to keep that money. So what is considered a public record? What are your rights on public records, and when might you need access to those records? One of the lawyers who argued this case and won is here now with us, and Warner Mendenhall. Congratulations on winning your case, first of all.
Thank you very much.
Okay, what is it the average person needs to know about this case and the relationship to public records?
Well, I want to draw one distinction. There are government records and then there are public records. Not all government records are public or can be released, and we understand that, like police files and things like that. But public records are defined, and all of those are our records which can be released to any member of the public if we request them.
What kind of records?
In this case, it was employment records, records about, say, our city employees, records about any decision-making functions, policies, or procedures of our local governments or state governments are records that we have a right to see.
Okay, now does this apply to people who work for a private employer?
It applies to any citizen of the state of Ohio. If you need or want access to a public record, it's your record and you have a right to go get it, and the government has to release it to you.
Okay, so maybe if there's someone who thinks that they were cheated out of pay from comp time or overtime or whatever, then you have a right to have access to that?
Absolutely, and that's what happened in this case. The two ladies had been cheated out of their overtime pay, and they sought access to the records that documented the hours they worked. The city destroyed those records rather than produce them to these employees, and that's why the jury got so angry about this. This was a unanimous verdict. It's a tremendous verdict, and the reason for it is because there was intentional destruction of these records.
So if you go to your HR manager and you say, I want my employment records, they have to give it to you? No.
I mean, if it's a public employer, yes, because those are public records. There's a real distinction between public and private. But, you know, for example, people may want records about procedures and decision-making in their local government regarding a zoning issue or regarding a decision on finances. They have a right to ask the local government to turn those records over.
And I would imagine this is particularly true when it comes to our government. That's the whole point of open.
That's right. Well, we have, in this country, one of the things is we have established from the very beginning that these are the people's records, that the government has no ownership in them, that the people own those records and have a right to those records. And that's why these penalties are so harsh in Ohio.
We forget our rights sometimes. It's easy to do.
Yes.
Now, if you want to contact Warner Mendenhall, his office is on North Union Street in Akron, and his number is 330-535-9116. We've got a link to his website, too. You can get there by going to newsnet5.com. Thanks for coming in. Nice to see you again.
Oh, well, thank you very much.
All right, we're going to head back over to Michelle.